I'm Jake Rogers, and my presentation is over the idea, can positive psychology make us happier? I initially chose this one because I myself am a very, I would think, happy, optimistic person. I rarely ever get stressed. Even when I came to college, I didn't have any big, oh my god, I'm going to college moment. So, in the beginning, I felt that positive psychology could make us happier, and I still believe that it can. But there are a lot of different things on the yes side talking about different aspects of everyday life that can make us happier or affect our mood in a positive or negative way. Such as things like the weather, our involvements, the people we're around, any types of things like that, whether they're in our control or out of our control, like whether we address it or whether the type of involvement or event happens to us like without even knowing. A lot of the topics relate in like chapter 8 and chapter 9 of the book, which I really found interesting going through over and over. I really kind of had to nudge down what I was going to put in because there were just so many aspects that were very interesting. One way is, how do we make ourselves happy? Some things that make people happy, we buy many things, we exercise, that makes me happy. Everyone loves money. I mean, if you don't love money, then you're probably lying. And TV, of course. And everyone finds some happiness from TV. I know I do. One thing that was found is that surrounding ourselves with happy, optimistic people can also help enhance our overall mood and make us even more happy. So if we're constantly around people who are in a good mood and are very like peppy, exciting mood, spontaneous, normally we're going to be a little more lifted from that compared to people that are just dull and kind of just want to sit around. And it suggested that happy people behave in ways that actually reinforce their happiness. So whether it's just thinking in a certain way or doing things or just having the mindset, okay, I'm going to take this test, even if I get a C or B, I know that I tried my hardest. So, and yeah, you don't want to get a C or B, always strive for an A. But if you get a C, you're not thinking, I'm terrible at all this, I might as well quit. You're thinking, if I did a C, okay, it's not my best, but I know I can do better, rather than reflecting, okay, I screwed up on all these things in the past. Also, that self-proclaimed happy people tend to think of life situations on the good memories, the good things that happened, their own achievements, compared to thinking of all the bad things that have happened. And a good example, imagine one teenager and another teenager. One is a self-proclaimed happy person, one is a little, not depressed, but like a little less happy than the first teenager. They both get accepted to several colleges and both get declined from a few. Now, the happy teenager, he is more likely to think about, okay, all these colleges I got accepted to, it's great. I have so many opportunities, even though they got declined from several others. Now, the other teenager who isn't as happy, even if he got accepted to very prestigious schools, he will tend to think of all the reasons, why did I not get accepted to all these other colleges? Why did this school not accept me, but this one did? So, pretty much, if you're happy, a lot of happy people will, like I said, they will think in ways that reinforce their overall mood. Some things that make us happy, just as a few examples, close friends, your career, because you should always enjoy your career. That way it's not really a job. Being a part of a community, your creativity, health, exercise, many different things that can affect our overall happiness. Now, on the no side of happiness being out of our control, one way you can look at it is from a biological standpoint. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for personality expression, planning, cognitive behavior, and decision making, and overall kind of social behavior. Dysfunctions and mutations in the prefrontal cortex have been linked to such disorders such as ADHD, depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. So it is kind of showing a way that that is out of our control. We can't really control what our genetics are going to be like before we're even born. And personality traits usually overall start causing our happiness or our unhappiness. Another aspect that's it's kind of in the middle. It's not exactly in our control, out of our control, it's kind of somewhere in that gray area, is the hedonic treadmill. That people who have come into great fortune or suffered a great tragedy, compared to like, if you win the lottery, you win $500 million, your happiness is going to skyrocket. If you get into a terrible accident and you are paralyzed from the waist down, your happiness is going to go way down. But over time, that on average, most people suffering from great tragedy or great fortune, within a year, they eventually come back to that normal, steady pace of happiness they've had. So throughout life, whether you have something that's really great, really bad, you're always going to have this average happiness that's going to kind of stay. It's like the treadmill. You can run really fast, you can go really slow, but there's always a certain pace that's going to stay around. Another thing that I felt was probably the most interesting is that as we get older, our happiness begins to decrease. And I have, you probably can't see it up here, but I have a small graph of the U-bend. That as we're getting older, right now is that time where almost anyone can, most people, especially in college, can agree that they worry about how other people judge them. Like, if they go out and they're worried, okay, I'm having a bad hair day. Am I dressed like a bum today? Am I acting immature? People will always think of, okay, how are other people perceiving us? Are they judging us in a good way, a bad way? Are we giving off a good impression? But around the age 40 to 50, so around that middle age, our happiness actually, from getting very, very going down, starts to come back up. So, like, it's the U-bend. It's going down, but as we get around 50, it gets older because it's been said that as we get older, we start to care less about what other people think of us. So, as we get older, we don't constantly think of, okay, am I being judged in this way? So even if people perceive us in those negative ways, it's not as affecting us as much as it used to when we were younger, like in our teens and our 20s. My conclusions, in the beginning, I felt that happiness can definitely, like positive psychology, can definitely make us happier. After looking at all these things, I realized that there's just a lot of research that supports both sides. So I'm kind of in that middle area right now. I feel that there are things that can make us happy that we control and things that are out of our control. So I guess I can pretty much go either way, yes or no, on it, that positive psychology can make us happier.
So, what do you